So good morning, everyone. We'll start with the last part of module 5, and that has to do with singular value decomposition. The last part, the second half of module 5 actually is all connected with each other. And for each part, you need to find the eigenvalue and the eigenvectors. Right? So yesterday we saw that to diagonalize a matrix or see if the matrix is positive definite, you first need to find the eigenvalue and then the eigenvectors and then proceed. Right? So the same is going to happen with this last part, and this is known as the singular value decomposition. And in the model question paper, in each of the parts, you have a question based on this. Right? So I'm more than sure that one of these, one question on SVD will be there in your exam. Right? So let's see what is this method of singular value decomposition. So it is a method to decompose a rectangular matrix. A rectangular matrix is a matrix which is m cross n. Right? So it can have m rows and n columns. And you can decompose this rectangular matrix into three parts. So if the matrix given is A, then you can decompose it into U, matrix U. Matrix, I've used the sign of summation. That basically means this matrix needs to be diagonal. A diagonal matrix is a matrix which will have only diagonal elements, rest are going to be zero. And then another matrix V transpose. So we'll see what this U and V are. But for starters, U and V need to be orthogonal. Right? So the cross product of two values need to be 1. Right? So we'll see this also in detail. And just for your reference, I've put on the right hand side bottom what an orthogonal matrix is. We've used this in module 4. If you have A into A transpose for orthogonal matrix, that will be equal to A transpose into A, and that answer needs to be I. That is an identity matrix. So in this SVD decomposition, A is the input matrix, and the size will be m cross n. U and V are going to be orthogonal matrix. That means when I do U into U transpose, I should get I. If I do V into V transpose, I should get I. And this sigma here is going to be a diagonal matrix. So in some books, websites, they've also used instead of this summation sign D, but the idea remains the same. It needs to be a diagonal matrix. So what are the properties? The decomposed matrices are unique. Means they will not be, they'll not be similar to each other. U and V are going to be column orthonormal. So we'll see what orthonormal matrices are. We have done this in Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization in module 4. The columns are U and V orthogonal. We'll see this again when we solve the problem. The values in sigma, that is the diagonal matrix, these are called as the singular values because there will be only one individual value across the diagonal, the main diagonal. And they are definitely positive and they are sorted in decreasing order. And sigma 1, sigma 2, and so on. We'll see what exactly this means. Right? So I'll not go into the steps. This is just for your reference. Okay, so I'll skip this and I will directly come into solving the problem. So once you understand solving this problem, right, you can go back a couple of slides where I've given you the steps to find the singular value decomposition. So let's look at this numerical itself. So the question is find the singular value decomposition of the matrix. The matrix given is 2, 3, 0, 2. So this is a numerical from your prescribed book, Gilbert Stanford. So let's see how to proceed. So the first thing you need to do is name the matrix, and this given matrix is named as A. And then you first find A transpose A. So A is 2302. You find its transpose, which would be 2032. And then you start multiplying A transpose with A. So this particular column gets multiplied with this row. This column gets multiplied with this row, so on and so forth. So you'll have 4 values. So it will be a 2 cross 2 matrix, and the answer here is 4, 6, 6, 30. So the first step in finding the singular value decomposition is to first find A transpose, that is the transpose of the given matrix, and then multiply the transpose of the given matrix with the matrix itself. Right? The next step is to find the eigenvalues of A transpose A. Okay, so this is where you have to be careful. We are not finding the eigenvalues of the given matrix. That means you are not finding the eigenvalue of A. You are finding the eigenvalue of A transpose. You have to be very careful. And then arrange them in the descending order. Okay, so we'll see the arranging later. Let's first find the eigenvalues. So for the eigenvalue, I do A minus lambda I. But again, I'll repeat, you have to be careful here. This A is not just the given matrix, it is actually A transpose. Right? And A transpose A here is 4, 6, 6, 3. So please be very careful here. Okay. So 4, 6, 6, 13. And so I'm going to subtract that with lambda I. So we know that when you do that, only the diagonal elements are going to be affected, right? So we have 4 minus lambda, 6, 6 and 13 minus lambda. This is exactly what is written here. And that needs to be equal to 0. Okay? So then you do the arithmetic here and you'll come out with the quadratic equation, and then you can solve that quadratic equation and find the roots. For this particular problem, the roots turn out to be 16 and 1. So the second part of step 2 says arrange the eigenvalues in descending order. Okay? So you start from the highest one and go to the lowest one. So lambda 1, okay, the first eigenvalue will be 16, the highest value, and the next eigenvalue will be the second eigenvalue, which is 1 in this case. So arranging them in descending order is very, very important. Before we go to step 3, again I will repeat, you're not finding the eigenvalue of the given matrix, you're finding the eigenvalue of A transpose A. So be careful. So next comes step 3. So we find the singular value. The singular value is nothing but we denote them as sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 and so on. And each sigma is nothing but the root of each eigenvalue. Okay? So if I go back one slide, lambda 1 is 16 and lambda 2 is 1. Therefore, sigma 1, which is root of lambda 1, will be root of 16. Therefore, sigma 1 is 4. And sigma 2, which is root of lambda 2, will be root of 1, which is nothing but 1. Okay? So, these sigmas, sigma 1, sigma 2, and so on, these are known as the singular values. Okay? So, that completes your step 3. Step 4, you find the eigenvector for each eigenvalue. Again, here you have to be careful. You're finding the eigenvector for eigenvalues of A transpose A, not of A. So I'll go one slide back. So A transpose A is 4, 6, 6, 13. Okay? So to find the eigenvector, the equation is A minus lambda I into X equal to 0. And we know the structure of X. X needs to be a column matrix, which is n cross 1. In this case, n is 2. Therefore, we'll have a column matrix with, with 2 rows and 1 column. Okay? So, A minus lambda is 4 minus lambda, 6, 6, 13 minus lambda. We know the structure of X, and that will be equal to 0. So now you start substituting the value of lambda. We have two lambdas. The first lambda is 16. You substitute the value, you do the arithmetic, and you find the value of x1 and x2 in this case. Right? So it's the same procedure of finding the eigenvector. So I'm calling the first eigenvector corresponding to lambda equal to 16 as capital X1. And I found the two values, that is x1 and x2, small x1 and small x2, and those come out to be 1 and 2. Right? So if you see at the bottom of your screen, v1 equal to 1 and 2, it's a column matrix, okay, and that is the first eigenvector which corresponds to the first eigenvalue 16. Next up, we take lambda equal to 1, which is the second eigenvector, do the same process, and we find capital X2, and I've written that as vector v2, and that value is minus 2 and 1. This is the second eigenvector. So for each of the eigenvalues, we find each eigenvector. I'll repeat again here. The eigenvalues and eigenvectors are not for A, the given matrix. It is for A transpose A. You have to be very careful. Okay. Then the next step, this is a predefined step. You calculate U and V and sigma. That means U and V, which are the orthogonal matrices, and sigma or summation, which is the diagonal matrix. Right? So the equation for U is pre-specified. So U is nothing but 1 by sigma 1 into A into V1 and 1 by sigma 2 A into V2. If you have three eigenvectors, the third part will be 1 by sigma 3 A into V3 and so on. Okay? So this is how you can find the value of matrix U. So sigma 1 we already know is 4, that is root of lambda 1, and A is already given to us. Now we need to find V1, okay, that is vector V1. So V1 is nothing but the eigenvector x1, the eigenvector x1 divided by the length of it. Okay? So if I go back one slide, we had found x1. If you look at the bottom of the screen, we found x1 as 1 and 2. It's a column matrix. Right? So here x1 will be 1 and 2, that is a column matrix, and we need to find the length of x1. Right? So how do you find the length? If a and b are the values, the length is nothing but root of a square plus b square. Right? So here in this case, you'll have root of x1 square plus x2 square. And if I go back one slide, the value of x1 and x2 is 1 and 2. If you look at the bottom of your screen. Right? So therefore, the length of x1 is just root of 1 square plus 2 square. Therefore, it will be root of 1 plus 4, which is root of 5. So the denominator part is found, which is root of x1, the length of x1. Right? So how do we find v1 now? So x1 is 1 and 2, a column matrix, and each of those values in the two rows will now be multiplied with 1 by length of x1. And in the previous slide, we found the length of x1 as root 5. Therefore, you have the two values 1 and 2, and they will now divide by root 5. So the values are 1 by root 5 and 2 by root 5. Okay. Similarly, you can find the value of v2, and v2 will be nothing but x2 by length of x2. If I go back one slide, x2 was minus 2 and 1. Right? So if I go here, now length of x2 will be minus 2 square plus 1 square, so 4 plus 5, again root 5. Therefore, V2 will be x2 by length of x2, which will be minus 2 by root 5 and 1 by root 5. So now you can find the value of u. How can you find the value of u? First, I'll find u1. That means this first factor here, 1 by sigma 1 a v1. So 1 by sigma 1, that is 1 by 4. A is 2302. And v1 we've just found as 1 by root 5 and 2 by root 5. This is specified at the top of the screen. 1 by root 5 and 2 by root 5. So now you can do the matrix multiplication, and the answer here comes out to be 2 by root 5 and 1 by root 5. Similarly, you find u2, okay, which will be the second part. So 1 by sigma 2 is 1. A will be the same, and v2 we have found here as minus 2 by root 5 and 1 by root 5. So you do that, and you'll get the value of u2, which is minus 1 by root 5, 2 by root 5. Right? So therefore, now with u1 and u2, we write the entire matrix u. Right? So for u, the first column will be u1. So u1, if I go back one slide, u1 is 2 by root 5 and 1 by root 5. Right? So in the first column, I write 2 by root 5, 1 by root 5. And u2 will be the second column, which is minus 1 by root 5 and 2 by root 5. Right? So u is found using this process. Next comes v, because the decomposition is u into sigma, which is the diagonal matrix, into v transpose, right? So we need to find v first. So v is nothing but x1 by length of x1, comma x2 by length of x2. If there was a third eigenvector, you would have x3 by length of x2, right? So these values we already have because we found them previously. If I go back one slide, x1 by length of x1, if you look at the top of your screen, is 1 by root 5 and 2 by root 5. So if I go back here, I've just written x1 by length of x1 as 1 by root 5, 2 by root 5. Now we need x2 by length of x2. If I go back one slide, if you see here, x2 by length of x2 is minus 2 by root 5, 1 by root 5. So I've just plugged it. So that I'm calling as equation 2. And then comes the diagonal matrix. And we know that the diagonal matrix is going to be nothing but the diagonal matrix is just going to have the diagonal elements. And these diagonal elements, now here you have to be very careful. As I was repeatedly saying, we are doing these operations not on A, we are doing these operations on A transpose A. Therefore, you have to be careful to find the diagonal elements, because the elements are only going to be on the main diagonal. It is not going to be lambda 1 and lambda 2. That means it's not going to be the eigenvalues. Okay? It's going to be the singular values. If you remember the lecture from eigenvalue and eigenvector, okay, we had proved that the eigenvalues will be on the diagonal of the matrix, right? So with that logic, sigma here should have lambda 1 and lambda 2 and rest should be 0. However, since we are doing the operations on A transpose, right, these diagonal elements will be sigma 1, sigma 2. That means the diagonal elements will not be eigenvalues, they will be singular values, right? Therefore, I'm going to put sigma 1 and sigma 2, right? If you were to put this as lambda 1, lambda 2, the answer here will be 16 and 1. Okay? But we are not doing the operations on A, we are doing the operations on A transpose A. Therefore, I'm going to use singular value. So this is another place where you have to be very careful. So you have sigma 1, 0, 0, sigma 1. That means only the main diagonal will have the values. So sigma 1 is 4, which is root of 16. And then sigma 2 here is 1, which is root of 1. Right? So now with equation 1, 2, and 3, we are in a position to decompose A. And the equation we are going to use is U sigma V transpose. So equation 1 gives us U. Equation 3 gives us sigma summation. And equation 2 can be used to find the V transpose. Right? So that is exactly what we've done. Placed U, placed sigma, and placed V transpose. We will transpose V, and then that is the decomposition of A. Okay. So this is a question which you can expect in your exam. Uh, I don't think they'll give you a 3 cross 3 matrix uh, because you can understand that it will just increase your work. But a 2 cross 2 matrix is sure. So I think understanding through this numerical is easier. And now the same steps are, if I go back to the slides, the same steps are given to you. I'll just read through the steps. The first step will be to find A transpose A. Then the next step will be to find eigenvalues of A transpose A and then arrange them in descending order. Then find the singular values. Singular values will be sigma 1 equal to root of lambda 1 and sigma 2 equal to root of lambda 2. And then you will find the eigenvectors for each eigenvalue. Then you calculate U, V, and sigma matrix, that is the diagonal matrix. So U will be in terms of U1, U2, and so on. So U1 will be 1 by sigma 1 AV1, and U2 will be 1 by sigma 2 into A into V2, and so on. Where V, each V, V1 and V2 will be x1 by length of x1, comma x2 by length of x2, and so on. Where x1 and x2 will be the eigenvector, and the length of x1 can be formed as each vector in x1 squared and square root. Right? So root of x1 squared plus x2 squared and so on. Then you obtain the diagonal matrix, and this is again where you have to be careful. Size of the diagonal matrix will be equal to the size of the given matrix, and you are going to use the singular values, not the eigenvalues. And then once you have this Q, V, and sigma, that is these values 1, 2, and 3, then the last step is just A equal to U into sigma into V transpose. Okay? So that is the process which you use to find the singular value decomposition. So there are a lot of problems which are given in the book and also on the websites and everything, but the process remains the same. So any questions on this? So it is mostly step based. There's nothing to like there's not much of logical understanding. These steps are given and you need to follow the steps. So any questions here? Anyone? So if there are no questions, let's uh, let's move to solving the question paper problem. So, are you able to see the slide?
Yes, sir.
So we'll try to solve question number 9 and 10 in the video model question paper. The best part about question number 9 and 10 is that the first paper and the second paper, model paper, same questions have been repeated. Right? So if we understand 9 and 10 questions, question number 9 and 10 in paper 1, paper 2 is almost the same. So this is paper 1, module 5. So this shows question number 9. So the first problem says reduce the matrix, given matrix to U, okay, and then find the determinant using pivots. And in the second part, apply row operations to produce an upper triangular matrix U, and then find the determinant. Right? So in order to find the determinant using an upper triangular matrix, we need to first reduce the matrix to its row reduced echelon form. And once you do that, you will get an upper triangular matrix. And for an upper triangular matrix, the determinant is nothing but the multiplication of the elements on the main diagonal. Right? So let's see how we can do that. So we'll first take the first problem. So the given matrix A is 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, and 3, 3, 3. So by looking at the matrix, the operations which I need to do is the first non-zero element here is 1. Okay, so that's fine. This is the pivot, but I also need to have zeros below this pivot. So my first job should be to make this 2 and 3, the first elements of row 2 and row 3 as 0. Right? So I do the first operation here on R2, and then the next operation on R3, right? And then I make this 2 and 3, and I make this 2 and 3 as 0, right? Okay. Now I come to the second row. The first non-zero element is -2, so that's a pivot. But the problem is that it is having -3 below it, and that needs to be 0. So therefore, I need to do some operation so that this -3 becomes 0. So I do an operation on row 3, and then I get this -3, the second element of row 3 as 0. Right? So now the matrix which I get here is an upper triangular matrix because it has elements on the main diagonal, and all the elements below that are 0. And I call this matrix as U. And then for the upper triangular matrix, I know that the determinant can be found by just multiplying the main diagonal elements. So you have 1 into -2 into -3, and that answer is just 6. Okay? The best part about doing this is that you can also use the original matrix to find the determinant and check your answer. Right? Once you do that, you will find that the answer is 6. So these problems are bonus problems because I can check my answer. The next problem is similar. Only thing the matrix is 4 cross 4 matrix. So again, the job here is to make each of the pivots, the elements below each of the pivots as 0. So my row operations should be such. So you have the first element. So all the elements below that need to be 0. So I should do operations like that. Then you have, once you do that, you'll have the second row pivot, which comes out to be 2, and you need to get all the values below that as 0, and so on and so forth. Right? And once you get this in the form of an upper triangular matrix, we're calling this U, right? So you can see that this matrix is an upper triangular matrix. Right? Once you get that in that form, just multiply the diagonal elements. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 6. When you multiply them, you'll get the answer as 36. Right? Again, you can check your answer by finding the determinant the other way. Okay? So that finishes the first problem. Part B is a very simple problem. You need to find the eigenvalue and the eigenvectors of a given matrix A. Right? And I say it's a simple problem because it's a 2 cross 2 matrix. So let's see how we can solve that. So to find the eigenvalues, we start with A minus lambda I. And we know that when we subtract lambda I with A, only the diagonal elements are going to be affected. So you have 1 minus lambda, 4, 2, and 3 minus lambda. So you do the arithmetic and equate that to 0. You'll get a quadratic equation, equate that to 0, and you'll get the two values. So you have lambda equal to 5 and lambda equal to -1. And then for each of these eigenvalues, you find the eigenvector. Right? So instead of 1 minus lambda, you substitute 1 minus lambda as 5, and 3 minus lambda, substitute lambda as 5. So once you do that, you'll get your matrix, the eigenvector, and that in this case turns out to be 1 and 1. Then you do a similar process for lambda equal to -2, and you'll get your second vector, which turns out to be -2 and 1. Right? So you have two cross two matrix. You'll have two eigenvalues, and you'll have two corresponding eigenvectors. Okay. Now let's look at the third problem. So third problem says uh, factor the matrix A into X some sigma X inverse using diagonalization, and hence find AQ. So A is given as 1, 2, 0, and 3. So let's see how we can solve it. This is a diagonalization matrix method of converting the matrix. So let's see. Okay, so A is given to us. So in diagonalization also you need to find the eigenvalue and the eigenvector. So that process is simple. You find the determinant of A minus lambda I. Right. So I found the determinant of A minus lambda I, and the eigenvalues are 1 and 3. And then I found the corresponding eigenvector. So that eigenvalue and eigenvector part I'm skipping because that we've already discussed. Okay, so the eigenvectors which you get is 1, 1. So now we need to, if I go back to the question, the question says that factor the matrix A as some X inverse, and some sigma using diagonalization. So let's see how we can do that. So we found the eigenvalues and the eigenvectors. This sigma here is just going to be a diagonal matrix, and I know that the diagonal matrix will have on its diagonal the eigenvalues. And what are the eigenvalues? The eigenvalues are 1 and 3. Right? So I'm going to write this sigma here as 1, 0, 0, 3. I know its structure. Right? And then I'm going to write this X or S, because we learned S or X as specified in the question, as eigenvectors, the two eigenvectors in columns, right? 1, 0 and 1, 1. To find S inverse, okay, if you recollect, we'll first have to find the cofactor of each position. We'll have to find the cofactor at each position. Then we'll need to transpose that cofactor matrix that will give us the adjoint of X or S, and then multiply that with 1 by determinant of X or S, and once you do that you will get S inverse, okay, or X inverse. So that inverse matrix also I have written here, and then you just multiply X or S with a diagonal matrix and S inverse, and that will give you your original, that should give you the original matrix. So that proof also I have specified. So that proof also I have specified here. So in the end, they want you to decompose that given matrix into three parts: X, the diagonal matrix, and X inverse or S inverse. So that proof is also given. Okay. Yeah, and the last part was to find AQ. Right? So you have A, which can be split as S, some sigma diagonal matrix, into S inverse, right? So the equation here is A raised to K, where K is the power, is nothing but S into some sigma raised to K S inverse, or if you want to use X in that case, X sigma raised to K X inverse. So K in this case is 3, right? So you write your S, which you have found using the eigenvector as it is. You find the, you write the inverse of this S, which is on this side, the right hand side. The sigma raised to K will just cube or make all the elements as a power of 3. Right? So this value was 1, the first value was 1, so it becomes 1 raised to 3. The zeros remain as it is, and the last value was 3, so it becomes 3 raised to 3, which is 27. Right? And then you multiply that, all these three matrices, and you'll get your answer. The best part again is that you can multiply the given matrix A 3 times and check your answer, and that answer will come out to be 126, 0, and 27. So In this fifth module, things are easy because you can check your answer. Next part, this is question number 10. Factorize the matrix into U V transpose. This is the singular value decomposition which we have just done. Then there is a theoretical question, what is the positive definite matrix, and the method of testing the positive definiteness. So that we had discussed yesterday. And then the second part is check for positive definiteness of the problem. And then the third part C is uh, find an orthogonal matrix Q that diagonalizes. Right? So basically, we are supposed to diagonalize the matrix S here. So I think there's less than a minute left for the meeting. If it gets disconnected, join back. So let's look at the first problem. Okay, so we are supposed to decompose the given matrix using the singular value decomposition. So I've given you the note on SVD, singular value decomposition. You just finished it. So it is the same problem which we have solved. So you can solve that. And then you have a test for positive definiteness. So I've given you the book page number where you can find the definition. I've also given you how to test positive definiteness.